At this time, we're going to go ahead and design this DC Type 260 motor. That's this guy right here. So we're going to need that to propel our car down the racetrack. I've gone ahead and opened up that motor right here, and it's actually a two-component assembly that's in one file. So I will walk you through the process of reverse engineering this particular motor so we can put this onto our solar sprint car. This is the type of motor that is sanctioned by the Senior Solar Sprint Car Racing by TSA. So let's get started. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go down here to the timeline at the bottom. I'm going to come all the way down here to the very beginning, and we're going to design this shape right here. Okay, so to get started, let's go ahead and create a new file, and we will call this V8, and we'll say type 260. Let's start over. DC Type 260 motor. Okay, I'm going to highlight all this, do a Control-C to copy, hit save. And what I'm going to do on this is I'm going to create another component. And on this one, I'm going to say, I'll go ahead and highlight this. Now again, this is going to be two components in this file. So I'll go ahead and say, see, V8 type DC. Try that again. Type 260 motor. Okay. Go ahead and do that. And let's go back to that motor from earlier and take a look at this. So that's on the right plane, and this is on the front plane right here. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll come back over here to this guy, and we'll create a sketch on this front plane, and we'll go ahead and draw us a circle. Not sure how big the circle needs to be. We'll come back over here and we'll use the measure command, and it looks like that's coming in at a diameter of 24 millimeters, just under an inch. Okay, so we hit dimensioning. We'll say 24. Okay, 24 millimeters. And we'll come and do an extrusion. Select that face. Okay, not sure how much we need to extrude this. Let's go find out. And the best way to find out is just go to extrude from the former other motor. Looks like it's 22 millimeters. Come back over here and we'll say extrude, and we'll say 22 millimeters. Okay, double click on that to zoom it up so we can see it. That looks good. So we're making progress. Let's go to the second part of it. Let's just keep going down the timeline. Okay, not sure what that sketch is. We'll turn our sketches on. Okay, they're putting a sketch on that face. Let's go get a dimension on that sketch by center at least. That looks like it's going to be a diameter of 18 millimeters. So we'll come over here, place a sketch. We'll do it on this surface. We'll say 18 millimeters. Put that in there. Let's go back and check the extrude, see what the extrusion on that is. Pull that over here. And we'll right mouse click on that extrude. Looks like that's going to be 4 millimeters. Okay, so we'll come over here to hours, hit the extrude. We'll say 4 millimeters. All right, got that in there. Okay, let's go ahead and save real quick so we don't lose our work. Good. Now let's go back and continue reverse engineering this particular motor. So it comes in here and puts a fillet in right here. So let's do a right mouse click, check the fillet on that. 0.5 of a millimeter. Okay, we got that. Come in here and do a fillet. Just hit the F key. Grab that. 0.5 of a millimeter. Put that in. Looks good. Continuing on, go to the next fillet. Looks like that one is going to be 0.5 again. Okay, so we'll come back over and select that. Hit the fillet command. 0.5. Put that in. Good. Back over here to the motor and see what the next one is. I got one on this edge here. Okay, edit that again. 0.5. Come over here to hours. select that, fillet 0.5. Okay, making good progress here. Now, going down our timeline, let's just continue over. Looks like we placed this in here. Let's get us, edit that sketch. Looks like it's 6.5 millimeters. Okay, so we'll put a circle by center on that face, and we'll say 6.5 millimeters. Okay, good. And looks like there was an extrusion on that, so let's go back and check what that extrusion is. So we'll finish that sketch. We'll edit that extrusion, and that's 2 millimeters. Okay, we got that. We'll come over here and hit the E key, extrude that 2 millimeters. Good, looking good. Okay, so let's go back and let's see what the next feature is. Looks like that's the shaft coming off that. We'll do, actually we don't have to do that, we don't have to open it up. We'll just measure that diameter right there, and that says 2 millimeters. Okay, we'll come over here, draw a sketch on that face right there. We'll do circle by center, and we'll say 2 millimeters. Okay, so we've got that in. Go back to this one, and we'll see what the distance on that extrusion is. Let's see what that is. That's 7 millimeters. Okay, so we got that in there. Come in, hit extrude on this. I'm going to say 7 millimeters. All right, making pretty good progress. Let's go ahead and save our work, take a quick break, and come back to this. Okay, the next step of the process of designing our motor that we're working on right now, this guy, is we have to design that plastic end that goes here. So I went ahead and opened up this file, and what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to go roll all the way back to right here, and at that point there you see DC motor, and then you roll up here this way and you start to see where they bring in a new component. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and create this new component right here, and I'll come up here and do right mouse click, and I'll say new component, and I'm going to say DC motor plastic end. Okay, and so let's put that piece in there. Now that's a little bit different to what I've named mine at. Oh, whoops, I put that in the wrong file. Let's go ahead and do a Control Z. Kind of crazy there. Let's do this right quick. Let's go ahead and do a right mouse click and say rename. I'm going to do a copy. Hopefully my clipboard is working now. And we'll come over here and we'll do a right mouse click up here and we'll say new component. Highlight this, Control V, didn't take it. So we'll say, let me go back over here and look real quick. Plastic end of motor. Okay, we'll call it that. So we'll do a right mouse click, create that new component, highlight this, and say plastic end of motor. Okay, so now we've got that. Now it turns the actual other component into a wireframe translucent thing. That's okay, we can work with that. So what we're going to do now is come back over here to this one, and we're going to get a measurement of this sketch right here. In fact, we'll edit that sketch. Escape. If I can edit that sketch. Let me see what I can do here. Edit that sketch. Okay. And I'm not sure where that sketch is, but we're going to go ahead and proceed anyway. So all I know is that when I edit this feature here, get out of that sketch. When I edit this feature here, this is reverse engineering. It's kind of the process. So it has to be that sketch there. Edit sketch, yes, there we go. So we edit that sketch, rotate this around. I don't think we need to do anything to that sketch. We just know that it's there. I'm going to come over here to the DC motor, and my new motor that I'm designing, I'm going to place a sketch on this end. Okay, just go ahead and draw a sketch. Now what I'm going to do is put a relationship here. I'm going to say that these two here and this are as this says tangent. Okay, so we got a tangent sketch right there. We'll come out here, we'll go check this extrusion, and that extrusion is 1.5 millimeters. So we'll go ahead and do this one, hit our extrude, and we'll say extrude 1.5 millimeters. Now that's going to come in that color right there. So what I want to do is I want to make this look like plastic, kind of a white plastic, kind of a tannish white plastic. We hit the A key, and we're going to come down here and see if we can find a color that pretty closely matches. I'm going to try this one, put that in there, but then I'm going to edit that. I'm going to take this up more to kind of this color right there, and we'll just put that on there. Hit done, and that's kind of more of what I'm looking for. Now, with respect to the previous design here, it's a lot lighter in color too. So what I'm going to do on that is I'm going to hit close on this, go back up here to this, and hit edit. Actually, we'll do this. We'll come down here to these bodies, and we'll say edit those bodies. Actually, I'm going to change the appearance at A, and I'm going to go ahead and go back to my appearances. Let's go to metal, and I'm going to go to steel. Let's try the steel satin, put that on there, and well, we got to download it first. I'm not sure if this is going to be the correct one. We're going to try it though. Put that over here on this, hit close, and let's come back up here to this guy. Okay, we got that in there the way we want. Okay, good. All right. Okay, so we got this in the way we wanted. Let's double check this here for a moment. I'm going to go ahead and collapse these, and I'm going to double click on this guy. Hit him as the active one. There we go. Yeah, that's much better. I like that a whole lot better. Come back up here and hit this as active. And now we can see this kind of a plastic end. I'm going to lighten that up again. So I'm going to go back and make that the active component. And I'm going to go ahead and hit my A key again. And I'm going to lighten that up even more. So I'm going to take this and grab it and put it on there. See if I can lighten that up. Let me move this over here. Let me get out of that real quick. I'll move this over so you can see it. Lighten this up. Let's go more up to here. Hit done. And we'll repaint this with this one to make sure we got it. Okay, let's go back up here and look at both of them again. Yeah, it looks a lot better. It looks a lot better. Okay. So, coming back over here to this, we're going to continue our process. Looks like there's a fillet put on this. Let's edit that fillet. It's like 1 millimeter. Okay, we can do that. We'll go ahead and hit a fillet command and hit the fillet, and we'll say 1 millimeter. Okay, got that in there. Going back over here to our motor. Let's keep continuing on the process. Okay, what is going on there? It's this piece here. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and edit this. Excuse me, not edit, we'll measure it. It's 8 millimeters on the diameter. Come back over here to this one, and we'll set ourselves to that view, rotate around, put a sketch right here on this end, and we're going to call this sketch, let's say 8 millimeters. Okay. And we're going to come back over here to this guy, and we shall do, and we'll measure that extrude. That looks like 2 millimeters. It's fine. Extrude ours to 2 millimeters. Okay, so this thing's coming together. So let's continue our reverse engineering. Move over to the next feature. Okay, it's these little tab cutouts here. So let's go figure out what that is. So we're going to roll up on this and get an idea what that is. It looks like they put in a 2 millimeter diameter hole, and then we came back in and we put a rectangle on the tangent points here. So what I'm thinking we will do is come over here to this. We'll set ourselves normal to that face. We'll draw a sketch. I'm going to go ahead and put a construction line in, and we're going to draw it on this face here. Construction line, find that center. I'm just going to come up here in space over at 90 degrees, and we'll go back over here and look at this one. Okay, and we'll put our 2 millimeter diameter hole, which is right on this crease right here of the fillet, on the edge of that fillet. Come out and say 2 millimeters. Now we got to convert that. Whoops, I said 3. Make that 2. We got to convert this to a solid line. Now we'll come in here and we'll put rectangle by center. Come out here to this. whoops, do a Control Z, rectangle by center, roll up, find the center of this. I'm just going to come out to about right there is fine. Now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and hit escape. I'll turn all of this here, not worried about this bottom, to solid lines. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this line and this and make them tangent. Ah, that looks good. Okay, so we'll come back to the trim command and we'll trim out these extraneous lines we no longer need. Get rid of this. That looks pretty good. I'm going to take this out, and this out. Alright, so now I've got that shape. So what I'm thinking about doing right now is I'm going to do a test. So I'm going to come back over here to this guy. We're going to hit Finish Sketch. And we're going to check that extrusion depth. That looks like -3 on that extrusion depth. Okay. Now if you notice, when I highlighted this extrusion, it shows all of these others extruding at the same time. So that gives me a clue as to what I did before. And so I'm going to hit OK. I'll go back over here to this. And the clue that it gave me was that I went ahead and created this sketch, and then I did a circular pattern of that sketch before I did the extrusion. So let's go ahead and go circular pattern. I'm going to highlight these two, right? Highlight the shape here, and it says it's 14 components. Okay, we'll believe that. We'll come over here. Now it comes in automatically at 3, so we'll go 4, and there it is. Great, that looks good. So we know it went in -3, so we'll hit the extrude command, grab that, grab this, have to hold our shift key down, come around, grab each one of these, and we're going to go in -3. Alright, that looks good. So we got our tabs in. That's excellent. Okay, let's go back over here real quick and save our file just so we don't lose any of our work. Okay, I'm going to stop for a moment and come back to this. Okay, the next thing we need to do on our motor is to come back over here and design these recessed slots that are in here. So let me move the playhead along and we'll see what I'm talking about. That's these guys right here. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and measure using my measure tool, inspect tool, and that'll get me a radius of 17.8925. Okay, I think I can remember that. So we'll come back over here and we're going to draw a sketch on this plane, that surface right there. And we'll come over here and we'll say 17.8975. Okay, so we got that in. Let's go back over here and check that inner radius on this guy here, or inner diameter. We'll hit the I command for inspect, and that tells me a diameter of 1135.31. Let's see if I can remember that. So I'll put another sketch in, and I'm going to say 11.3531. Hope I got that right. Alright, so that's in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate this around, take a look at it. Let's just double check this real quick. Yep, everything looks concentric. So now let's come back in here and take a look at this. Alright, there's obviously this piece of plastic that extrudes and divides this into two. So let's get a measurement on that. That's 2 millimeters. That's going to be easy to design. So we'll come back to this back view. We'll do me another sketch, and we should still be on the same plane. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw me a line up to here, and I'm going to hit the S command to extend. Keep extending this one down to there. Okay, and I'm going to convert that, grab this guy here into a construction line. Then we do an offset 1 millimeter. Thank you, appreciate that. And then I'm going to mirror that guy he's selected, and we'll grab this construction line and place that in there. That looks good. We'll trim up these spots here. Take all these unnecessary lines out. Roll up here. Trim out these. Trim that out, that out. Okay, it looks pretty good. So we got that sketch in there. Let's go back and check that extrusion. The extrusion on this, hit edit feature, went in -1.5. So we'll just remember that because I can't do my clipboard right now. So we'll do an extrusion, say -1.5. All right, there it is. That looks really good. Okay, let's save our file real quick. Now what we need to do is find the next feature. Okay, looks like we got this little guy extruding out here. I'm just gonna inspect him. Let's go do the inspect command and inspect. And that diameter is 2 millimeters. Okay, that's pretty simple. So we're gonna draw a sketch on this plane right here. I'm gonna come up and hit circle, 2 millimeters for a diameter. We'll come back over here to this. We'll open up that extrusion. It's a 1 millimeter extrusion. We can do that. Okay, hit the E key to extrude. I'm going to say 1 millimeter. Okay, let's go back into that. Yeah, looks good. Okay, we'll continue on. Looks like there's a fillet in there. Yeah, right there on the end. Let's figure out what that fillet is. 0.25, really small fillet. So we'll come up here to this, hit the F key for fillet, 0.25. Okay, that's looking good. All right. Continuing the process, we'll move down the timeline. Looks like we got this piece coming in here. What is that? Okay, that's it. That's the electrical tab connection. So let's go check out that sketch. Edit sketch. Okay. All right, let's go in here and look at this. That looks like, inspect this. Reset. I'm going to go ahead and click from, it looks like it's just basically tangent off this point right there. So I'll go ahead and get a measurement from here to there. That's point 4808. Okay, let me see if I can do that on this guy. Here, I'll do a sketch, and I'm going to select that plane right there. I'll come in and draw myself a rectangle that's tangent. Just put that in there like that. Let's get a measurement. It did snap to the middle of that, so we may have to override that. So let's put a dimension in. Yeah, I can't override that. Here's what I can do. I'm doing Control Z and replace that. This time, whoops, I want to make sure I'm in this one corner right there, which I'm not. Here we go. There. I'll come out to about right there. I'll make it oversized. Go back to the back view, hit dimension, put that in here like this. I'm going to say point, whoops, okay, 0.4808. Alright, looks good. Now, I've got an option here. What I can do is, I can come in here and put a center line somewhere right there, and I can mirror this. See, it's already got the center line selected. So I'm going to come over and just mirror that, and pops in over here. That's good. We hit OK. Now what we need to do is we need to extrude that. Let's go back and look at that feature. We'll finish out the sketch. Now if you notice here, okay, there's one extrusion there. If I move down the timeline, it's kind of a mistake I made here. Extrudes the second part. We're going to combine these two. Watch. So we'll do an extrude. Whoops, gotta figure out that distance. My bad. Let's see here. Edit feature. Looks like 5 millimeters. Okay, we got that. Come back over here to this one. Hit extrude. Grab that guy. Hold my shift key down. Grab this guy. Hit 5. And there we have it. Okay, so now we've got that extrusion done. That looks pretty good. Okay, and let's save our file. Okay, all right, so let's go back over to the timeline and kind of see where we are. What they do in this one right here is it creates an offset plane, and the offset plane is going to be on the opposite side. So if I move my mouse, my timeline playhead this way, you'll see the feature that goes in. Now what we want to see is that plane. So there's that plane right there. Let's go and edit that plane and get some information about it. Yeah, it looks like it went 12.25 millimeters off the center, off the right plane. So, or off that plane. I'm not sure if that's the right or not. Okay, we'll say 12.25 millimeters. Okay, we can do that. So we'll come back over here to this, and we're going to come over here and we're going to put in a construction plane, offset plane. And what we're going to do is going to find this guy right there. See it? Now we're going to say negative 12.25. Boom, there it is. That's what we wanted. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's take a quick break and come back to this. Okay, now what I want to do is I'm going to come back over here. I made sure that I see that construction plane, which we turned on, that guy right there. And now what I want to do is I want to come back over here, and we got this one body right there. Okay, I think I should be working on that body right there. I don't think I did that in this file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this, and I'll come over here to this one myself, and I'm going to make sure that I'm active on that body. Okay, now what I want to do is, yes, I didn't do that. Okay, I see it. Okay, so what I want to do here is turn this on. Construction plane is right there. Okay, I think I know what to do here. So I'm going to come back and make this active. I want to be able to see that construction plane, and I'm going to draw a sketch on that. Turn that construction plane on. Rotate this around just a little bit. Draw a sketch on that construction plane. Okay, so now going back to this one, we're going to go ahead, rotate this around to the left view, and we're going to get some measurements on this. Okay, so obviously this was mirrored, so I'm going to come over here and let's actually get some measurements. We're going to measure this guy here. No, I actually did that on the plastic end. I can see what I did now. Okay, it's going to be a little tricky here. We're going to fix that. Show my sketches, and I'm going to make this guy active. Okay, I'm going to come down here to actually I'm going to go back up here and make him active. Yes. Okay, now I'll make this guy active. And so I'm going to turn these constraints off. It's too much to look at. And we're going to get a quick measurement from here to here. Okay, that's a big number. That's 10.1128. Okay. Okay, so before I go any further though, let's go ahead and we're going to do exactly like we've done here. So I'm going to hit reset on this. I've got a center line I've placed out here, so I'm going to come out here and get a measurement on that center line from here to there, and that says it's 1 millimeter. Okay, we can do that. Come back over to this guy. We're active on that one plane. We're going to do a sketch. We're going to put a line here, and we're going to put it on. Let's see if I can put it in here. Okay, we'll do an offset of 1 millimeter. I'm going to say flip that, and I'll say okay. I'm going to take this and make it a solid. Now let's check and make sure we got that in there correctly. Yeah, it looks like we did, and we're sitting on the offset plane. That's good. So we'll go back here to setting ourselves planar to this left side. We'll go back to the other one, and let's get a measurement from let's see, from here. I don't know if there's a point I can get a measurement on. Tell you what I can do is hit close. I'll hit close, finish that sketch, and I'll turn that plane off, which I'll turn back on here in a second, and I'll get a measurement from here to that edge. Okay, that's 1.4161. I can do that. I can do that. Okay, so I think I can do that. 1.4161. So I'm going to come in here and put a vertical in, just somewhere up here in space, make it a solid. And I'm going to try to put a measurement from, let's go from, don't know if I can do this. Actually, I can do this. I'll come in and put a point in right here. Good. Now I'll do a dimension from here to there, and I'll say 1.4161. And what it did was extended the point over there. Okay, let's do this. Do a Control Z. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this. And I'm going to take that point and do a right mouse click, and I'm going to fix that, which means I've bolted it down to that line. So now I'll come in and do a dimension from here to there, and let's see if we can move it. 1.4161. Okay, yeah, it moved it. Great. Okay, we'll come back in and hit the S command, and we'll trim out that. The point I'm not worried about. And now what we'll do is we'll go back over here to this motor, and we'll measure this slot from how long that is. So we'll come over here from here to there, and that's 10.1128. 10.1128. So we're just going to put an arbitrary line somewhere out here going up. We'll make that a solid, and we'll say 10.1128. I think what the dimension was. So we'll go from here to there. 10.1128. Okay, that's good. We'll hit the trim command here, trim out that base. Now let's get the height of this, because I'm not sure what that is. But before I get that height, let's go back to the sketch. Got a parallel line right here. Okay, we'll measure from here to there, I think. Let's do a reset on that. Well, we got two ways of doing this. Let's do that dimension again, measure again. Go from here to there. Okay, that's 1.8994. Okay, let's go back over here, and we'll draw us a line here. Take that construction line, make it solid, and we're going to do a dimension of here to there. It says it's, oh, I see what it is. Go and delete that. We'll come up here and put a line somewhere up here, maybe. Okay, we'll dimension that. Can't remember what that was. I want to say it was, I don't know what it is. I'll say 2 just for kicks and grins. We'll go back and check that measurement again. Inspect here to there. Okay, 1.8994. Okay, so I had 2. 1.8994. Okay, it took it. Good. So let's convert that to a solid. And that's based, actually, I'm going to do a Control Z. We're going to leave that as a construction line, because I need to do the same thing on the opposite side. I'm going to move this dimension out of the way. We got to make a dimension here to figure out what our next piece is. Okay, so let's go up here and we can figure this out. It's just going to take some reverse engineering. Okay, let's get a measurement from this point here to this point, and that's 1.1562. So we'll come over here, draw a line, and we'll say, whoops, not there. We'll draw a line here, and we're going to dimension that to, whoops, Control Z. Okay, dimension from here to there. Okay, 1 point, I can't remember what it was. Say 5262. I don't think that's correct. In fact, I put it in wrong anyway. Let's go get that measurement again. Inspect. Okay, 1562. Okay. Back over here to this. Edit that. 1.1562. That's better. Okay, so now I got these points plotted in. Now, let me see if I can get an angle measurement from here to there. Let's do an inspect. I don't know if I can get an angle measurement on this. Let's try this again. Reset. Can't get that dimension, so we're going to hit reset on that. So what I'm thinking is we have to plot these points in. So let's try one more time to measure from here to there. Okay, that says 2.8212. 2.8212. Just put on a construction line out here, turn it to a solid, go from here to there, and we said 2.8212. Okay, that looks good. Now we need to figure out this point here, this angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a construction line in on this plane. If I'm on the right plane. Actually, I'm going to hit finish. I'm going to get rid of that sketch real quick. And I'm going to make sure I see that plane. There we go. Put a line on that plane. Okay, we'll put a construction line in. And we'll make sure it's construction. From that point, it's going to come down here to there. And that's not correct, but we'll see if we can extend it. Whoops. Hit extrude. My bad. Come back over here and let's see if I can extrude it. Can't extrude it, so I'm going to delete it. Alright, let's figure this out. This is getting complicated. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just going to arbitrarily put something in as close as I can get it. And we'll take a measurement from here to there. Okay, and that says 1.4065. Okay, so what I will do now is I will draw a line here to there, and I will say dimension 1.4065. I think that's wrong, but we'll go and correct it here real quick. Dimension again, whoops, measure again from here to there, 4065. Okay, let's go back and look at that. Yeah, I was wrong. I was right. Okay, good. So now we have an ability to come in and plot in this point from this vertice to that vertice. Okay, that was a lot of work. So let's come in here and trim this out. So kind of see what we got going on here. Okay, that's in. That's good. We got to do the same thing on this opposite end. We got to plot in this point. So we'll come back over here to this, and we'll create. We're still in the sketch command. I'm going to come in here and place a sketch pretty much right on that corner right there, down to here. Make that a construction line. Try to make it a construction line. Now we'll take a measurement from this point to that point. That's going to be 3.4057. Okay, so we'll draw us a line, a construction line in here, and we're going to say dimension 3.4067 7 plat. Okay, all right, so now we got this vertex here we can put in. So now I just come from this point to that point, take this guy, make him a solid, hit my trim command, trim the wrong one, hit the trim command, I hit fillet again, whoops, hit trim, trim that out, this out, this out, this out. Wow, that was a lot of work. Okay, we've got a hanging line out here. We'll just go and get rid of these construction lines. We don't need them anymore. Makes it a little less confusing. Turn off our dimensions. Now what we need to see is go ahead and mirror this. So we'll mirror these two here. Select those points. We're going to select our mirror line here. And there it is mirrored. Okay, good. Woo, that was a lot of work on that sketch. So let's go back up here and see what the extrusion depth is. I think it's this guy. Yep. First of all, let's clean this one up a little bit too. Let's get rid of that construction lines we no longer need. So let's go ahead and see how far this was extruded. Okay, that was extruded 1.4145. Okay, 1.4145. So we'll hit our extrude here, and we're going to say 1.4145. Is that what I said? Hit OK. Let's double check that. Short-term memory loss here, guys. 4145. Okay, we got it right. Good. Hit OK. Well, all right. That looks like a DC motor. So now again, we were working in this part of the component. We'll go back up to make that active and deselect that. We'll turn off our plane, but we have modeled our DC motor. That's good. Let's save this file. Okay, and we'll come back to this in a little bit. Okay, so now that I've gotten this motor designed, I'm going to go back to the original motor and go ahead and turn that off. Okay, I'm not going to save anything on it. So let's go over here to our V8 assembly, and let's make sure that our got this motor already placed in here. So what I'm going to do in my new assemblies, I'm going to get rid of this motor, because that was the original one that I had designed earlier, the one we just did our reverse engineering off of. So I'm going to go ahead and save our file just to be on the safe side. Okay, we got it saved. Let's go to our parts library, and that's in the V7. Let's go to V8, and there's our new little motor. Okay, so let's take our new motor, drag it over here, and we're going to go ahead and collapse this. We're going to I'm going to rotate this 180 degrees, 180. Okay, and I'm going to pull this out here, and I'm going to go ahead and do a joint. Looks like I'm missing something there. Okay, what I will do on this is I'll do Control Z, and I'm going to go back over here to that motor. Before I do anything else, I'm going to grab this component, pull it off to the side. I need to make a joint. I didn't get that done. Not a problem. So we hit the J key for joint. So I'll come back over here and I'll find the center of that. I'll find the center of that, and they are joined. Okay, good. We'll save that file. Okay, we got it saved, got them joined in. You see the little tab for joint. Come back over here to our new V8 assembly, hit the update command, and it's updated this. So now when I move the motor around, it's going to be fine. Okay, let's do a joint again, and this time we're going to do it based on, I'm just going to select this center part right here, and I'm going to select the center part of this. Now I'm going to have to move this. And what I'm going to do is go to my left view, which is technically the back view in this case, and I'm just going to adjust this to about right there, continuing with the slot for the gear. Okay, so if I rotate that around, you can kind of see where I've got it continuing with the slot for the gear. In fact, I may just go ahead and go back a little bit to about right there. Okay, hit OK. So now there's our motor, and there's our motors joined and lined up to the hole. You can see our breathing slots right there on the side of the motor. This looks really good. Let's go ahead and stop this and move on to designing our front and rear axles.